I'm Dutch, and let's react to the Americans. Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Johan, and I'm a typical Dutchman. And if you're planning to come over to Europe for your holidays, or maybe to live here permanently, or if you're wondering why is everything so expensive in the United States in comparison with Europe, then you are at the right channel, because in this channel I look at and react to videos about life and living in America versus life and living in Europe or the Netherlands specifically, and of course the cost of. And today we're going to take a look at a video from Lulia Ferroli. We're going to start with a subscribe and a like. She says this is a video about the truth about living in the Netherlands, the cost, that's important, the people, okay, and the food. I want to know what she thought about the food. So, but the cost is there, and I will, if needed, correct or supplement anything she says. And if you like this kind of videos, then please subscribe to the channel. It would be really appreciated if you did, so we get more viewers to the channel and look at these great videos. Okay, let's go on and see what she has to say.
Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. My name is Julia. I make videos about data science and my life in tech, and for the past 5.5 years I've been living here in the Netherlands.
5.5 years, okay.
I now live in Amsterdam, but I first started out in Maastricht with my data science and AI study.
AI studies in Maastricht 5 years ago? Did we had already those? Okay, sorry.
In Amsterdam, but I first started out in Maastricht with my data science and AI study. I just made a video about what it's like to move here to study, but I also wanted to address what it's like to live in the Netherlands after you finished your degree, or if you just come here for a job directly, what can you expect from being an expat in the Netherlands? I'm going to explain a bit about the country, food, and people of the Netherlands, and then dive into some financial aspects of living here, and end up with my thoughts on the country and why I think it's a really, really great place to live in.
Okay, good ending up. I'm looking forward to the end of the video. Let's take a look.
Let's get into it. Part 1, a little bit about the Netherlands. If you don't know, the Netherlands is of course a country in Western Europe that has a very rich and long history, some complicated history as well, but all in all, it's been doing really great for a really long time, and yeah, I think it's a really nice culture to be a part of. First thing you'll notice about the Netherlands is that it's a very flat country. Seriously, like...
everybody says we are flat. Yes, we are. Only in the region that I live in, and that's in the southern part, all the way down to the region of Belgium and Germany, there are some quote hills, but for the most of the country is as flat. Yeah,
people told me this before I moved here, but thinking about it and just, you know, taking the train and seeing endless fields with not a single hill or mountain in sight is something quite different. No matter what country you come from, I can guarantee you've never seen anything as flat. Which is also, of course, a good thing for the Netherlands, since it leads to great agriculture. They grow a lot of vegetables and a lot of tulips. And for how small they are, they're actually a pretty big exporter of food and other goods. So yeah, it's also a very, very tiny country. It's really nudged in there between Belgium and Germany. And it's a lot smaller than a lot of its neighbors. But again, it's a huge exporter. It has a pretty...
Whoa! A lot smaller than much of its neighbors. Than Germany and England, of course, but Belgium is smaller, and even down there, Luxembourg is even more smaller. But I know what she meant. Yeah, we are a small country.
Pretty big population, so as small as it is, it's a powerhouse. The Netherlands has a lot of different regions, each with their own name and culture, and actually only two of them have the name Holland in them. They're South and Noord Holland. Amsterdam, for example, is part of Noord Holland. So calling the country Holland is actually very incorrect and something that a lot of foreigners get wrong and a lot of Dutch people are offended by.
Yeah, especially when you live in the south. This is not Holland. We are in the Netherlands.
If you think it's weird to get offended about it, the nice comparison I've heard is that it would be the same as calling the United Kingdom Scotland. Probably not the same. That being said, life in the Netherlands can vary a lot based on where you live. A small village in Limburg is going to be very different than living in Amsterdam. So when you think about living in the Netherlands or experiencing Dutch life, know that there's quite a variety on what that means to different people. There's a lot of beautiful parts of the Netherlands, even though I will say that nature isn't necessarily its strong point. There's really gorgeous tulip fields and windmills and natural forests that are really nice to hike around in or, walk on flat.
Walk around is hiking. No, we have a lot of forest areas, but yeah, we're not known for our vast forest areas. We have nice ones, but yeah, most of the country flat is used for agriculture. So
Land in. And some really, really cute traditional cities that look untouched by time. Check out my vlog in Volendam, which is a cute fisherman village. It's a gorgeous country. Second part we're going to discuss is food in the Netherlands. If you're going to live here, you're going to eat here. Now, the Dutch have very interesting national dishes, which are a very acquired taste, I will say.
We have some traditional dishes. I'm wondering which she's gonna mention.
For example, there's stampot, which is different types of mash with kale and usually sausage. Yes, the Dutch were eating kale way before it was cool and hip, and it's pretty good. However, I will say that the Dutch have an affinity for not really using a lot of condiments in their food, which historically is a little ironic. But yeah, expect a lot of boiled potatoes with maybe a bit of salt, which is quite different than the food I'm used to. Other national foods are haring with onions, a lot of different fried mystery meats like bitterballen and croquette, and also kaas soufflés, which are fried cheese. Just a lot of fried snacks that they usually consume in boros, which are just like after dinner or pre-dinner snacks where people come together, have some finger food and a lot of beer. And it's very gezellig.
Very gezellig.
Dutch do, however, have really nice sweets. They invented the stroopwafels, which are amazing, especially warm at the market, but also the ones you can buy in pretty much any store. They are caramel goodness with a lot of sugar, but really, really crunchy and good. And for New Year's, they have the traditional oliebollen, which are literal oil balls. Also an acquired taste, but I know a lot of people who go crazy for them around New Year's and eat them every day.
Yeah, oliebollen. It's fried dough with sometimes raisins in it. That's it. Yeah.
And on the other side, modern Dutch cuisine is also quite different, especially in the Amsterdam area. There's this culture of being kind of a flexitarian and going towards vegetarianism or veganism. It's a huge brunch culture, anything to do with avocado and poached eggs with hollandaise sauce or just any brunch food you can think of. Amsterdam is the place to be for that. Moving on to Dutch people.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Dutchies are awesome. You will recognize Dutchies by how tall and blonde most of them are.
Oh, they took me. 182 and blonde.
Seriously, it's like looking up all the time. Back in Romania, I was considered very tall.
She's from Romania.
at about 174, but here almost everyone is bigger than me, which is quite a big difference. And the blonde thing, yes, a lot of Dutch people are naturally blonde, which is quite different from, again, the example of Romania, where most people have naturally darker hair or almost black, and it's more rare to be a natural blonde. The Dutchies are also very modern. For example, they're all pretty tech savvy.
I hear kids playing in the background.
A lot of people will have internet and know how to use a computer, no matter what age they are. So it's not like, oh, even my mother could understand it. Everyone's mother knows how to use the internet here, which may or may not be different from where you come from. Everyone's also very active.
Yeah, if she compared the meals that what we eat versus what they are used to in Romania, yeah, then we have very dull food. I've been in Romania several times, and they have nice dishes, very good dishes. Yeah.
You will see everyone biking around, especially older people, which
Hey, our former president, prime minister.
I thought was awesome, that they're not only going out and about and having hobbies of their own, they're biking around the city with no worries in the world, sometimes even with their grandchildren on the back of their bike. You'll also see mothers with these little wooden crates in front of the bikes, biking with maybe 3 toddlers at a time. Just everyone bikes everywhere. They all also do a lot of sports, primarily field hockey. And the Dutch are, of course, very tolerant, which I think almost everyone knows about them.
Field hockey and most of them soccer.
They were the first country to legalize gay marriage, and weed is, of course, legal here in all of the coffee shops around the country. Although mainly in Amsterdam, you can get in and smoke a joint and it's totally fine.
Yeah, that's also a warning. So if you want to have a coffee, don't ask for a coffee shop, because they will direct you to actually a coffee shop. And that's where you can have some weed or some mushrooms. If you want to have coffee, ask for a cafe, or go into one of the restaurants, or go into a shop that they have somewhere, a small lunchroom or so. But don't ask for a coffee shop, because you won't end up in a actual coffee shop, and that's not what you want if you really want to have just a cup of coffee. We don't have Starbucks here, if you want to know.
Now let's get into the serious stuff. Having a job in the Netherlands. If you're an EU citizen, it's really easy to come here, register, and start living and working here. As a non-EU citizen, the process may be a bit more complicated, but it's still very possible as long as your job is willing to go through the process of hiring a non-EU citizen. Some initial mentions about having a job here. It's very normal here to do a bachelor degree and a master immediately after, so you only really complete your education after your graduate degree. So just expect that most people will have that, and that's kind of what you'll be competing with for jobs. I personally don't have a master's degree, and it's worked out for me, but I am aware that it's kind of the exception.
I do not agree. I have a master too, but I only had a master after I finished my bachelor degree, and then I started my master. It was about 6-7 years later, and only because I wanted to do a master, not because I needed to do a master. And so a lot of people don't have a master. With a bachelor degree, you can find a decent job. And if you want to do some extra, you can do a master. And okay, it's good, but it's not expected. And in a lot of jobs, it's not a qualification that you will be hired or not hired based on if you have or don't have a master. As qualification is HBO, higher education, then usually it is only a bachelor you require, and not a bachelor and a master. HBO, higher professional education.
If you want to find a job here, most resources are LinkedIn or Glassdoor, which is another Dutch website where you can also compare salaries for different types of jobs and get an idea of what you could earn. You can also just look up individual companies and see if they have vacancies on their websites, of course. Now, something that maybe a lot of you may have heard about abroad, the Dutch tax system. The Netherlands has quite big taxes, I guess, compared to other countries, but it has a box system where you don't have the same tax applied to your entire income, which may be a bit confusing. It used to be 3 brackets, but now it's only 2 to make it a bit simpler. So if you say earn 100,000 euros a year, your first 68,500 will be taxed at 37%, and then the remaining 100 will be taxed at 49.5%.
Yeah, that's how it works. And nowadays, I don't know, it's 4 years ago. Do we still have a 2-box system? I'm not sure. I think we have a 3-box system again for our taxes. I will take a look at it. Yeah. Nowadays, 2025, we're talking about, again, 3 boxes. Box 1, 2, and 3. So it's 3 boxes again, and that's good. Back to the video.
So yes, that is an almost 50% tax, but it's not applied over the entirety of your salary. But you will see where your taxes are going in the education system and health system and infrastructure and how clean everything is. There's, you're really getting the benefits out of it. At least I think so. You may be, of course, free to disagree, but I'm fine with the tax system as is. When I was studying, I benefited from different toeslags or subsidies for students or people who didn't earn so much. So I really see how it all goes around.
Yeah, and that's because she was a EU citizen. So if you're not from the EU, then a lot of those subsidies and toeslagen, those extra money from the government, may not apply for you. So then it's a bit more expensive, but paying taxes, means a lot of benefits for everything in comparison what you see in the United States, that most of the taxes goes to defense, and then some of it goes to, I don't know, but not enough into the social benefits as healthcare, cleanliness, nature, infrastructure, etc., etc.
You can check out my Studying in the Netherlands video for more details on that. Work-life balance in the Netherlands is very nice and relaxed, I would say. You get about 20 to 25 holiday days a year, and then on top of that, all the national holidays, which seem to be all the time, like the King's Day is celebrated and has a day off, and some religious holidays as well. You would have another day off with those as well. So it ends up being maybe closer to 30 days off in the year. You also have...
And those are all paid days off.
Have an 8% holiday bonus that everyone gets. So around May, I think, you get 8% of your salary just paid out to you to go have a nice holiday. And
not entirely correct. She's correct that it's paid in May, and it's not 8% of your salary. It's savings from the rest of the year. So if you start, for example, in January, then you get your holiday pay for January, February, March, and April, and maybe May, for those 4 months. But if you work an entire year, starting, for example, in April, and then in May next year, you will get the full 12 months of extra holiday pay. So it's not 8% of your salary at that point. It's your savings during the year that you're working. So it's benefits for an entire year working. So you're saving without knowing that you save, that you're saving for your holidays, and then most of the time, indirectly, for depending how much you earn, how much taxes it costs, it's almost a full month extra pay. Almost, yeah. So it's a 13th month of pay in May.
and this is for every job in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Some other perks, which depend on the employee, are bonuses for performance and maybe a 13th month. Those are quite common, but they're not mandatory to get.
13th month, except for quote quote the holiday pay 13th month. A 13th month depends on how you are going to be paid in on your job. Like I had, we in the education system, we get every month pay at regular date, but we get paid for every 4 weeks. So 4 weeks is not enough for an entire year. So we get the final 4 weeks as the 13th month, also in December. Yeah.
It's also pretty relaxed here. Other than having so many holiday days, I think everyone who does work a 9 to 5 will leave work at 5, with exceptions, of course, but it's quite common to just go home at 5 sharp and not look at your work emails or get any calls from work anymore. Unless, of course, you have flexible work hours, in which case you can just work whenever you feel like it's the most productive, as long as you get your work done.
As long as you get your work done. Yeah, 9 to 5 job. Yeah, okay, let's talk about 9 to 5 job. It can be, and depending on what, it can be from 8 to 4 or from 7 to 3. It's not definitely from 9 to 5. But on average, an 8-hour work day is normal. And then depending on what kind of job you have or do, it can be a 4-day or 4.5-day a week. So 32 to 36 hours a week. But she's correct. Once you leave your office, it's done. And if you don't do this, like I did, you're working on in the evening and through your holidays, you get a burnout. And that's not advisable. So if you leave your job behind. Close the door and say, okay, the rest will be tomorrow.
I was quite surprised by this in the beginning. If I was just, focused on my work and not looking up from my laptop, and then it became like 5:30 and I would look up and the office would just be empty. So I also just hurried off home and got used to leaving pretty early as well. If you work later, you will just find the cleaning lady coming in and starting to vacuum around you. So
yeah. Well, oh, okay. I'll be leaving soon.
It's really discouraged to put in crazy hours or to go above what is expected from you. Another nice thing is that hierarchy here is quite flat, so you won't find super confusing corporate charts of having 7 managers above you. It's usually quite easy to know who your boss is, and even so, I think calling them boss is quite weird. They will be like your manager, but I think everyone's quite direct to each other, and it's very easy to talk above your station, so to say. It feels even weird mentioning something like
Yeah, we don't have bosses. We have managers, and for the ones who talk about being a boss, the only one who has a boss is a dog. So I'm not a dog, so you're not my boss. You're my colleague or you're my manager with your responsibilities, and I have my responsibilities, but you're not my boss.
that. Basically, pretty much everyone is encouraged to share their opinion and their initiatives, and because Dutch people are super direct, they may just shut you down and say, no, that's a bad idea, but not in the way that you shouldn't, bring up another idea again. You'll just know what everyone's thinking, and I think that's really nice that an intern and a CEO can have a conversation and they may ask you what your opinion is or something. So it's a very flat hierarchy, not so much stress and corporate structure around, just everyone in the office working together towards their goals.
Which I hope she say, which is to make the company better. So loyalism is more important than being, let's say, a corporate junkie.
Which I think is a very nice environment. So if you manage to get a job in the Netherlands, what are some costs that you may expect to pay with the money you have left over after taxes? Number one will be rent or mortgage. If you buy a house, you can check out Funda for all the properties in the Netherlands and seeing how much rent is in different regions. Be warned, Amsterdam is insane. There's nothing quite comparable to it. Of course, Rotterdam or Utrecht or The Hague can also be quite expensive, but I think Amsterdam takes
the crown. Yeah, Amsterdam and Amsterdam region is very expensive. Yeah.
the crown jewel for unreasonable amounts of rent. Even for Dutch people, it's quite a problem these days. There's not enough housing, so people who maybe were born and raised in Amsterdam might have to move out just because they can't afford to live there anymore, which is indeed quite a problem. You do need a pretty good salary to comfortably live in Amsterdam, but it is doable.
Yeah, and this video I see is from 4 years ago. So 4 years ago, we already had a housing crisis for finding a house with a reasonable price. It's nowadays, and we are 2025, the housing crisis is only getting worse. Not only for the rent or mortgage prices, but just to find one is already a big problem.
To give an example, an apartment can be 1,000 to 1,500 euros for a single person or a couple. Depends where in Amsterdam it is. If you go outside of the ring, it will be cheaper, but not by that much.
I want to know. So apartment, 1 bedroom in the city center, 1,600, somewhere between the 1,400 and 2,000. Apartment, 1 bedroom apartment outside the center, 1,200. 3 bedroom apartment in the city center, 20. Oh man, these are prices 4 years ago. Now I will say, for now, 2025, calculate another 400 extra on each of those prices.
Again, check out Funda for a pretty good overview of what it would cost for you. Other than that, you of course have to pay for food. There's this really nice website that kind of explains examples of how much a loaf of bread or milk or beer in a pub will cost you, so you can use that to make an estimate for your lifestyle. Above that, you will also have some municipal taxes for trash collection and sewage and clean water that you should also account for. And of course, your actual utilities like water, electricity, and gas. You can check everything out on that website and see an estimate for your situation.
So, good tips.
For traveling, a lot of people use public transport. It's really easy to get to work either by bike or by train or by tram. So I don't think so many people drive. I don't have a car, and most of the people I know don't have a car. But of course, that's also an option. I just don't know so much about it. When it comes to public transport, you get an OV chip card, which is your travel card that works with all forms of transportation in the country. You can charge it up.
2025, there's no longer a OV chip card. Everything you do can be done directly with your debit card or your credit card, so you don't need the OV chip card anymore.
And do a pay-as-you-go for every ride. It will count when you check in and check out of a public transportation, how long your journey was, and then see how much it costs. Or you can get unlimited subscriptions for every month, which are usually better if you commute every day, and you can get different discounts as well.
And a lot of people do commute every day from inside Amsterdam, because inside Amsterdam the rent is very high. So people live outside of Amsterdam, take the train or a bus and traveling to Amsterdam, and in combination of a train ticket monthly with the rent is usually cheaper than living in Amsterdam only with the rent. Yeah.
So your budget can really vary based on how you live and how much you earn and where you live. Again, if you live in a village in the south or in the north and you live in Amsterdam, those are completely different calculations, so you can figure that out for yourself.
And what she doesn't mention in the cost of living in whatever country, in whatever Amsterdam or outside, it doesn't matter. She did not mention insurance. Health insurance is mandatory, so you need to have a mandatory health insurance. It's not that much. It's depending on how much you want to, but on average, 150. And it's mandatory to have, if you're renting a house or something, is other insurances like fire insurance, and other insurances. So she doesn't talk about the insurances. Those are not pretty high in monthly premiums, but you need to have them.
But just to give a ballpark number, since I'm sure people will comment about it, I think you can live in Amsterdam with 1,500 to 2,000 euros. Some people will deal with a lot less or a lot more, of course, but that seems like a good assumption or a good estimate. So yeah, I hope you found this useful if you're thinking about living here. Check out some of my other videos if you're interested in those topics. And yeah, best of luck with whatever path you have in life.
Wow, thank you. Good information. She has a lot of good information and experience, and even after, because it's 4 years ago, a lot of those are still valid, are still good. Cost of living is, of course, more expensive in the last couple of years than that she has on this video, but for the rest, everything she says is really good. No comments on those, even that I reacted to it. Not a lot of comments on what she has to say and how she brought it. It's all good. It's a very nice video. And if you like the video and you like my comments and my extras to her my reaction to her comments, it would be nice if you press the like button down there. And if you want to see more of my videos, then this is a good place to start with. And otherwise, it would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button so we can get up to the first 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.